Hi guys, it's Henry here from IFE. So today I want to talk about UK pension transfers for expats and for those living in the UK. So I want to cover some of the platforms, some of the trust costs and some of the hidden fees that some advisors may not tell you about. So what to consider? So firstly, there's two kinds of pension. There's a defined benefit one that's basically a golden plated final salary one. You can still transfer these. They are becoming increasingly harder because of the watchdogs in the UK. I would get a thorough analysis on any one that, if you have got one of these, and it is required if your pension is worth over 30,000, if it's DB or DC scheme now. So get a full analysis because these have a lot to factor in kind of interest rates, how long you've got to live, and the current rate of what it's offering, multiple values for that. So go through that with a financial advisor. For the DC schemes, a bit more simplistic. You have the option of putting it into, if you're an international or SIP scheme. What are the benefits of these is mainly kind of investment choice. You have a wider range of investment choice. Normally, we touched on it before, pensions in the UK, they're pretty stagnant. I've come across hundreds of pensions that are in these kind of DC schemes and they're getting 1 to 2% because they are conservative. There's nothing wrong with that. It's stable and they do protect your pension, but I've also met a lot of people that are kind of in their 30s, 40s, even 50s with a kind of longer investment time frame, or want to pass it, or got multiple wealth, that want to more risky options. So they want to look at kind of 7-8% that equities normally get. Also, if you're an expat, you have the advantage of currency options. So you may be living in the US, so you want it in US dollars, or in Europe, or in Singapore, where you just want it in SGD because you have kind of ambitions of retiring in that. So you may not want it in GDP anymore. So what to look out for in regards to the fees. So a lot of these will put it into offshore bonds, costs and trusts. I'm going to put a link into one of my blogs about the costs of the trusts that you have in international SIPs. I've done a few blogs on the costs of UK SIP providers. Normally in the UK they are pretty competitive now and they are fighting for business, so you can get it relatively low. But just remember, it is actually the funds that drive it. So cost you need to take with a pinch of salt, as many advisors will say. So costs for the trustees, they cost a few £100 in the international side of things. You can get some, I would not pay anything more than £300 to £400 a year, all inclusive of establishment charges and annual management for a trust. For the platform fees, I would stay away unless it's a kind of a vast sum of money, over kind of 500,000, or especially over the nil band rate of £325,000 away from the offshore bonds. They tend to be usually expensive. These are kind of French Providence, Royal London, Old Mutual. They normally have fees of kind of 2% a year. Then when you put in the bond and the advisor fees, it can add up to 4 or 5% a year. You put into CPI inflation as well, you're looking at 5-6% just to kind of maintain that pension. So I've come across very few in these platforms that are actually doing well when you factor in inflation and the charges. So be wary of that. For the platforms, there's some good low cost offshore options. Things like capital platforms, custodian can be custodian life, investors trust with their access portfolio. You can drop the charges down. Arden, as well as some good low cost platforms, Nedbank and Nova, also ones that I personally would be more inclined to use. So that's on that. So if you have been advised some of the Royal London's FPI, feel free to reach out for a portfolio review. Cause happy to kind of go through the kind of hidden charges with them and just introduce you to kind of more kind of flexible low cost options. So feel free to get in touch at info@investmentforexpats.com. Thanks.